All right, gang, welcome back to our Luxury Tax Challenge here on Mecklenburg, and you might be asking yourself, well, Z, why are you still in April? And the reason for that is because I think we're going to have enough to do here in April that we are not going to move to May, at least maybe not until the end of the episode, if we do move to May at all. Now, the reason why is because, well, one, I want to do some of these fertilizer contracts that are out there. Two, I did hear all of you in the comments. You all pretty much were saying the same thing, and it's something I already had installed. And it's specifically what I'm talking about is a way to resolve the excess digestate that we have right now. And what all of you correctly pointed out to me is that there is a production that does allow you to turn the digestate into other items. It's something I utilize in a series that has been on pause for a little while now. I don't want to put by too much. I think that's plenty for right now. Actually, you know what? We're probably going to need a bit more than that now that I see that, because we're going to do 3 contracts. All right, we'll go with that. Hopefully that's enough. But to put it down, we do need some more money. We don't quite have enough money. Now, when we do these contracts, we should have enough money, I think, even with me buying that fertilizer. There's a sowing one as well, but yeah, we should have enough. We should be able to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and accept all of these contracts here. And basically, it's a production that I utilize in the Survive 25 challenge that's been on pause, and we're going to come back to that challenge at some point in the future, but it's a series that is kind of one that would be something that you would extend for the entirety of Farming Simulator 25, and so due to those reasons, among a number of us that have been doing that challenge, we put it on pause, and we'll bring it back for a couple episodes, and we put it on pause, etc. It's been on pause for a while. I probably need to jump back into that here in the near future, but we will at some point. But nonetheless, what I'm trying to get at is there is a production that I utilize in that series. So because of that reason, I was trying to kind of stay away from it. I've mentioned a number of times, and this is just my personal preference. I don't think really anybody cares. But my personal preference is whenever I do a different series, I try my best. It's not always going to happen for many reasons. But I try my best to try to incorporate different productions and different equipment, etc. You know, just to keep it fresh, right? I'm not utilizing the same thing every time you go watch a new series. It's the exact same stuff, if that makes sense. But really, it's the only thing out there for digestate right now. Now, you could also say, well, you could just keep the digestate and put it down on the field, and you're right. And we are going to do that a lot of the time. But we still are going to have excess that we need to figure out something to do with. And so for those reasons, I think it makes sense for us to go ahead and put in that production. So that's what we're going to do today, and we're going to utilize these fertilizing contracts to get us there. Not only that, though, I also want to roll the field that we drew out in the last episode. I hate rolling. Many of you who have been around for a long time know that. I actually hated rolling a lot more in FS22 than I do in FS25 because of the GPS that we now have. Now, if you were on console in FS22 like I am, you didn't have the luxury of course play, right? So I just hate rolling. I hate having to go to the end and pick up the roller and put it back down and etc. And you could say, well, you don't necessarily have to pick up the roller. You could just, turn with it. And you're right, you could, but a lot of the times on the fields I was working in or the land I was working in, I didn't really have the room to turn around. I don't know. I just don't like rolling. I really don't know. I really don't know. I like the way it looks when the rolling's done, but rolling is just not something I have ever enjoyed in this game. So more times than not, I try to stay away from it. But since we are doing a series here that has precision farming on, we should probably try to roll to get a better yield out of it as well. So we're going to do that. I'm just going to lease a roller. We really don't have the money to buy one, especially with everything I just told you that we're going to be doing, right? I said we're going to be buying this new production. It's not cheap. It's a very, very expensive production, $45K to be exact. So you have to factor in the fact that when we do buy that, we also have to put $4,000, because we're doing 10%, right? We have to put $4,500 into the park as well. So it's not going to be a cheap day. Not going to be a cheap day at all. We're going to be spending at a bare minimum, well, it's going to be over that, counting the roller, but a bare minimum, we're going to spend 55K probably, 53K, something like that. Anyway, we're going to be spending a lot of money. Actually, it's more than that because we just spent almost $4,000 on solid fertilizer. So, yeah, we're gonna spend a lot of money, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. But nonetheless, we are going to at least find ourselves something for the digestate for the early stages here, because we don't really need the digestate right now, right? We only have one field at current that is not a grass field that we could put that down on, but that already has a perfect pH value, so we don't even need that. Should I have probably done that early on? Maybe. I definitely could have done that, but I don't know if we would have had enough digestate at that point to be able to do the whole field, because it is quite a large field, right? So, wasn't there a little bit missed here? Yeah, here it is. I was going to say, I swear there was a tiny bit over here that I could touch up real quick, so I'm going to do that. Although that's probably what I shouldn't have done, because that's a bit of a waste. And then we should have one more path up here. Oh, it's actually very small. Oh, it's much smaller than I thought it was going to be. So anyway, we're going to continue on doing this fertilizing contracts, get some of that money that we just paid for all the fertilizer back, among a number of other things, and we'll put down that production, move some of the digestate over there. And by some of it, I mean probably all of it for the time being, because, as you know, we are going to have, well, quite frankly, we're going to have quite a lot of digestate we're going to be dealing with here for a little bit of time. The reason why is because we don't have anything to put it down on, as I just mentioned, right? So, all right, so that is done. There's a cultivating contract out there now, too, so that's nice. And the other two fields are on the complete opposite side of where we currently are. I think, whether this is the right way to go or not, this is a field we're always working in this field, 30. I think I'm going to go left and down here and then up this path. I think that's the way I'm going to go. Whether that's right or wrong, that's what I'm going to do, I think. So, we're going to get to work, and we'll get the other two fields done, and then I will be back with you, and hopefully we'll be able to put down that production. And it just did hit 10 o'clock, so we did make a little bit of money from selling the greenhouses, right? We've got those on auto selling. Speaking of that, we probably need to take a look at the water on those, too. They probably are getting close to needing water, so we'll look at that as well. Well, leave it to Walter White to just cause a complete mayhem and flip us on our side. Man, he just stopped like on a dime, and I ran right into him. Oh, boy. Anyway, all right, so let's turn these contracts in really quick. We've got quite a few more that have popped up out here, actually. Some of those are probably worth doing. I'm not sure if we will or not, but they're probably worth doing. All right, so that gets us to 48,324, which is good, right? That's what we need to be able to place this down. However, when we place this down, we are then not going to have enough money to do what we need to do in the park, right? We would need $4,500. If I'm telling you it's $45K, and it might be more, slightly less, depending on, if it's flat enough or not, I guess. I don't really know where to put it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know where the best place to put this is. Like, part of me wants to put it here because it's kind of close to this area. But I think we're getting a little, we're getting a little tight over in this area, I guess is how I'll put it. Because I'm still going to need Because eventually we are going to utilize this, right, to put digestate down on the ground, right? So I am still going to need it. And so I'm still going to need to be able to back this up into there. So I want to make sure there's enough room. And I think there is if I put it over here. I know there is. But, let's do this first of all. Let's do this. Let's just make sure I don't screw anything up here. Let's just turn this on. The pallets are going to spawn... Where are the pallets going to spawn? Maybe the pallets don't spawn anywhere. Maybe there's no pallets on this one. That probably makes sense, actually. So then I guess it would be okay here then, huh? I'll put it there. Yeah, I'm fine with that. There's still enough room for us to drive past it easily. I need to obviously clean up the area here, but I mean, it's the same thing I need to do over here. I'm just really haven't wanted to spend the money on that for multiple reasons, right? Now, can I... I cannot. I was going to say, can I just distribute the digestate directly over to this? But I cannot. So... Okay. So, what does that mean? Well, that means we need to get into the Iseki here, and we need to go ahead and bring this over here and unload it. And then we'll need to turn on the digestate. So, do we turn it into silage? I think we do, right? I think we do. I think that makes the most sense. Silage digestate. I think that makes the most sense. So I need... Oh, no I don't. No I don't. No I don't. I need... What am I talking about? I need this. 1,000 digestate to 1,000 liquid fertilizer, or 1,000 digestate to 100 solid fertilizer. You also need lime for this. Ooh. So I think based off of that, we probably are going to utilize the liquid fertilizer. And then I can sell the liquid fertilizer, right? I think that probably makes the most sense, right? I mean, this makes sense too, but, you know, without... We'd have to buy the lime. I don't want to have to buy the lime every time. Unless there's some other thing we can do. But I don't think there is. I think that's it. Okay, so that's what we need then. We're just going to do the liquid fertilizer, and maybe what we need to end up doing is getting a liquid fertilizer sprayer. Well, any sprayer, really. Maybe we need to do that. And then doing that would allow us to utilize that a little bit instead of the solid fertilizer, right? We could do a little bit of both, right? I think that makes a lot of sense. So, let's see. Dumping digestate in there. It's going in there. Absolutely. Good. And it holds a ton. Look at that. It holds a ton of digestate. That is good. That's really good for us. And I guess that's probably a good thing, because probably what I would end up doing is if I had the ability to just transfer it, or distribute it, in this case, to this production, more times than not, I probably wouldn't have any digestate to be able to put on the field. And I said I wanted to do that, so we're going to do that. So it's probably better to have it in this approach anyway. I can just move over small amounts from time to time, which makes us a little bit more money, right? I think that makes sense. And it's on storing right now. Do I put it on selling, or do I actually go and sell it myself? That's the next question. Liquid fertilizer, I would think, is a lot of money, but I don't know where we would sell this at. I haven't figured that out yet. No fluctuations for this. I can't sell liquid fertilizer anywhere either. So that tells you all you need to know right there. We either have to put down a sell point that has liquid fertilizer, or we're going to utilize the liquid fertilizer for our own fields and for contracts, etc. But we have to buy... Well, I guess we can lease it, but we have to buy or lease. I guess the other thing we could do, which is we talked about... I'm kind of all over the place here, gang, but just bear with me for a minute. I guess the other thing... Because I'm just trying to think of all the different ideas we could do. I guess the other thing we could do is we could take the liquid fertilizer and get rid of the greenhouses, even though I just put more water in those greenhouses. But get rid of those greenhouses and put down the greenhouses that require liquid fertilizer, right? The hydroponic ones, which would make us more money in the long run. We could do that. That might be the answer. But either way, for now, we're just going to try to, get this at least going. We need to get some liquid fertilizer, first of all, before we really, make any kind of true decision, right? I don't know how fast it makes it. It looks like it's relatively quick. 48 cycles per month. That's not bad. So it won't be super fast, but it will chew through them, probably most of it for the month. It probably will chew through all the digestates. So, yeah, this is going to work out. This is going to work out well. Now, we probably need a bigger digestate tank than what we have, and I think I mentioned that when I first bought this, but really this is the only thing we could afford at that time. We still can't afford it now, but you get what I mean. The time comes, we'll probably have to make an upgrade there, which will make it a little bit easier, which means I have to do less of this back and forth here, unloading the digestate. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm leaning more towards the hydroponic greenhouses, gang. Obviously, that's not going to happen in this episode. We need more money for that to happen, but, soon enough. I'm definitely leaning towards that. All right, so I think this is the last one I'm going to put in here for the time being. So let's go ahead and unload that. Now, in the meantime, is there anything in the used market? Nope, nothing there. In the meantime, let's look at the rollers. I'm going too far here. Here they are. This is the one I was kind of looking at leasing. 9.5 meter width, which is decent. Means it won't take us terribly long. It will take a while, but it won't take terribly long to do the field we have. $637. Very, very inexpensive. So we're going to go ahead and lease it. Right, I'm going to go ahead and back this up, and we're just going to leave it here for the time being. I'll just leave it hooked into the Iseki for now. Jump back in the Versatile here, and I will head up to the shop, pick that up. I'll meet you back here, and we'll start rolling our field there. $637, maybe slightly more than that, to roll that field and get a little bit more of a yield out of it. I'm okay with that. Also, I don't know how this grass field. Do we need to fertilize this grass field? We very well might. We do need to fertilize that grass field. Well, maybe not. The nitrogen's good. The pH value is bad, but the nitrogen's good. Never mind. We're good. Okay. I will see you back here at the farm. All right, we're pretty much done here, gang. This thing has the absolute ability to fishtail everywhere. We're sliding all over the place, doing skids left and right, but did get it done, so that's going to be good. Give us a tiny bit of an increase to our yield, and it makes the field look a lot better too as well, right? So, looks like we just flipped over to 12 o'clock, so we did hit $6,000, which is good, because that means we won't have to do any other specific contracts to get us up high enough just for us to be able to put the money we need to put in to the park, right? So we've got to put $4,500 into the park. That gives us a little bit of buffer as well along with that, so that's a good thing. So we can go ahead and return this. I guess I don't need to take it all the way back there. I guess I can just go ahead and return it from my vehicles menu here. So let me do that after a quick autosave here. Let's see where we at. There it is. And return it. Boom. Perfect. All right. So we'll drive over here, put this away, or at least in an area to kind of put it away. We'll head on over to the park and make those upgrades. Park, here we go. Okay, so we've got $4,500 to spend. Now, I think we're going to have enough to put down another one of these. We certainly, well, we have enough, but they're actually more than expensive than I actually thought they were. But really, I don't think we need the big one anyway, though. The big one's going to be too far, so I think we want this small one anyway, right? I think we do. Right there. I think that's plenty of room down there at the end for us as well. Okay. So that was $3,698. We still got to spend just under $1,000, which we'll easily be able to do. That won't be a problem. But we've got our first row of parking spots here, which I like a lot. It's a lot of parking spots. I get what you're going to probably say to me. And then, do you really need that many parking spots? I don't know. Maybe, probably do actually. If you think about it, if we're going to put, soccer fields and tennis courts, basketball courts, whatever, and then obviously a dairy, right? You're probably going to need a lot more spaces than you might think. It's going to be a relatively big park, honestly. Okay, so I think what we're going to do with the rest is I'm going to put these... what are they called now? I already forget what they call it. Somebody in the comments corrected me. Pillars. I keep calling them pillars. They're not actually pillars, but... barricades, whatever. I think that's going to be good enough for me, honestly. They're not perfectly aligned, but they're pretty close. I think that's good enough. That's sufficient that we can easily walk through there. You can even take a bike through there, no problem. But a car is not going to be able to get up and over that, right? Yep. Okay, good. So we're going to call that there, gang. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I would greatly appreciate it if you smash the like, subscribe button for me. Thanks so much, my members. There's a link down below if you're interested in that. Discord link's down below. Everything you need, always, it's down below. Thanks for your continued support. I really appreciate it. We're almost to 9,000 subscribers, which is crazy. So if you haven't done so, man, hit that subscribe button for me. As I mentioned, it really helps me out a ton. And I'll see you in the next one.